Hello and welcome to another That Needs Adjusting episode. I'll be working on this model. This is going to be the kit bashing version of this figurine. I wasn't super happy with how that rear deck lid and everything lined up. So I made a few patterns and I'm going to be doing something along that to fill it in. First off though, I need to just clean up some of that junk out of there, and I can almost cut down to that line. During the assembly video, I did a few modifications with the exhaust headers, and I'll be squaring them up in a little while. You can see that that one notched a little bit cleaner, but it's the same idea for what I was going for. I'll show you that if you haven't seen the other one. That is the first video where I assembled this and then did those little modifications. So that, so far, is what I've come up with for modifications and kit bashing out of only chunks of cereal box, macaroni box, for the Orks Boosta Blasta. Trying to make it a little bit cooler, a little bit more fancy, or a bit more of the Roadster vibe. He just needs to get a little bit of a tweak around that grenade, but it's posable, it's drivable, it's convertible. The headers have been swapped around. All that gray putty is just holding it in place. That's what it used to look like. So if you want to see all the modifications, please watch the rest of the video. So the idea with this is to cut off the door and take the turret and mount him onto the side and turn it into a flatbed truck. The plan is to have him sitting right there in a turret, kind of ball. That means he'll be over right there. I can either get rid of that completely or I'll have to notch around it. For sake of the model, I'm going to try to notch around it. For sake of the model, I'm going to try to get rid of it and just clean it all out as best I can. May not be the cleanest, but let me go get that Gene Stealer's turret that I was using for a fitment. So that's why I cut it all out. I can just add one flat little floor plate that extends out what I need, and then it'll all drop right in. And I'll have to make sure it clears the header. So that's what I'll be showing you guys right now on the one side, and then that I have to do it for. And I'll match to the other side since I'm doing it for both right now. I'm gonna use some big putty gobs of I think that's the right one. Of the kneadable eraser. That way, I'll be able to kind of temporarily glue it into place, get everything lined up. Maybe too much. That way it's going to be stuck there deep enough. So I'll need to add a little fake floor and pop it up a little bit above the exhaust. That's fine. I think I don't like the kneadable eraser on that for that. Sometimes it doesn't always work. So I'll see if I can't just put the tiniest drop of super glue into each of the endpoints and get it stuck that way. So that'll be the exhaust I'm going to do on both sides. Just want to make sure I didn't get it glued in the wrong side too much. While I let that dry for a moment, I'm going to go get a CO2 cylinder so I can roll up another one of those. So that would be a little bit shorter. I think that's actually going to work out just to be fortuitously lucky. By now, hopefully this is dry enough to wiggle.
Try again, I guess.
The resin's not soaking up the glue, so it's not getting it stuck. I'm just going to reinforce these sections with a little bit of
Figure out how to get that to be.
Might as well take care of the other side since I know it's going to be that annoying.
A little strappy dude.
This is turning into such a faff right now. The glue is softening itself and being an issue. Okay. I'm just going to dab some more on there and give it a minute. In the meantime, let me get that door back. And I'll cut the door off. Give that a few minutes. And while that's drawing, I'll explain why these guys are out here. I need to add some nails. I wanted to use these Meganobz that I built, and I want to use them as reference for a trailer I want to build on these guys. That way, you know, These little dudes can be brought into battle on the back of a big Corvette trailer. I played a lot of heavy gear as a kid, so I kind of want to build a heavy gear style deployment trailer. The best way to get scale is to be able to move these around and not have them wobble off. Since these are extra, I didn't have any bases, so these will work for now as a temporary base, painting stand, and all sorts of just impromptu model holder. It'd also be a cute idea if you wanted to pin your model down and then just build glue or garbage or crap all the way up to his feet. Their feet. Who's ever feet. That'll work out fine. At least one of them wasn't painful. Need to get some. So I need to shave off that frame rail to drop it down as much as I want to. Got myself turned around there for a minute. Still do. I can shave more of that away. It looks like it's going to fit even better. I'm going to start getting weak there. We do the same shaving deal right there.
looks like.
The funny thing is, the more trouble you have with it, the better it looks off on the model, always. It's hilarious. I gotta clip that corner. And in good habit, I just do everything to both sides. It seems usually more productive in the long run. Make sure this side fits as decently. That exhaust does clear the floor now. Alright, so hopefully it's been enough time where these are... That one's sturdy. That one's still not quite, but at least I can get to moving on to the fun part, which is what we're here in the first place for. See how that pattern fit a little bit better. And that's generally how I figure out how to make the outside of the next pattern bigger.
Let's see how that works.
Oh, okay. That one just needs to get pushed forward. I just try to always make things as square as I can. And try cutting that out, and just we'll keep extending the pattern until it fits the best. That lower scoping is getting in the way. Alright. So that was just getting too annoying to work around. Alright, and that tucks in so much nicer now. Perfect. That can get glued into place. It's a better fitment. Not quite sure why he's not fitting up. Okay, well, that's annoying, but he goes in perfectly. So that's the new idea, and then the blaster dude is going to be sitting right here. Let's see where that little chassis has been off to. Okay, so I just need to pack out the inside of this tube enough and do another outer flange. That's fine. Make a quick little feeler gauge. The one that's not currently covered in glue as well. Durable cardboard. So it's going to be about 1 circumference of cardboard on the inside to cap it all off. Alright, so do that again so y'all can see them. I can just put a little toothpick or something to hold them at the right height and then glue them perfectly later on in place. And I just need a little bit more notching on that roll cage tube and some other things. And put in a little floor plate. And this will look pretty close to being better than it was. That'll be easy to work with anyways. Has to go back in the same place. There's no big deal to make sure it happens. Can make a little buttress plate that fits there, but now that little boot's in the way. Alright, that dashboard up. So that's all taken care of now. Make sure that his shifter arm clears everything.
Okay.
And then now gotta make sure I get the right pattern. It's always funny when you grab version 3 when you're on version 14. That tucks in behind everything and then pulls back nice and tight. I can cover up the transmission gears because they don't make any sense to me. I've actually worked on cars. Those gears don't make any sense. They're just there to fill up space, in my opinion. I'm going to trace a larger sheet to place over top of just the outer shape. It's one of the few times I want to use a flange just to help me give it more glue to the plastic. The paper to paper is usually fairly decent without needing flanges. I think that'll work. I just need to force into the right spot long enough. Alright. Pardon about that. The camera cut out because the battery, I don't have an auxiliary cable yet. But this is the quick and rough chassis that I'm letting dry. I just doped out a pretty good amount right here. I'm going to see if there's anything left on this tube and then give it a good half hour or something to dry so I can handle it without getting my fingers coated like that. That being said, here's the new idea for my little turret. Do the same thing. And get that glued up. I don't really care about fitment now that I look at it. I'll just trim this line back and put a new layer of cardboard on the bottom. A little kind of base molding. Let's see if I even have a strip right here that'll be useful. I'm going to let that dry so it can be moved around without bending and breaking on me. I'll trim that off when I get back. And then this is all going to get shaved back too, so I'll see you in a little while. Alright. Picking up where we left off more or less. Oh, still tacky, so I gotta be careful. I'll do that base layer, but I wanted to show off how it fits in right now. You may need a little bit more of a booster seat or, you know, maybe I'll trim off the bottom of that grenade. Doesn't really do him that much discredit to do that. So now he's right there. And you can look around at pretty much all the right angles and just scrubs over the scoop right now at that height. That being said, I can always make it that much taller and it would just clear perfectly. So maybe I could twist the hand too if need be. That's not a huge thing to cut the hand and then twist it. The other thing I can finally do is I can nip off this roll bar, since this is now fully convertible. Boosta Blaster setup. And as I was mentioning earlier, I got these guys to scale the rest of the build off of. So I'm planning to have these on a trailer. Kind of like that Goliath trailer I built, but I want to have these on the low boy, you know, flatbed. I think it'd be kind of funny to have them drop off. Something like that would be what I'm thinking of. I'll get to that in the next video, but food for thought. About the perfect piece right there. Going to do a few little detail strips to mold that turret in, and then I'm going to take a break for a while since it has a lot of glue that I don't have an exhaust fan going in here. I think it's time for another quick dry. Or, quick for you, regular for me. See you in a minute. All right. And hopefully this is dry enough to work with now. It's going to work out just perfect. Haven't decided where to put that little grot guy, but since I have plans for the back to be a fifth wheel style trailer, it'll kind of have like the a standard hitch like that, a standard ball hitch on the back, and do an over trailer. I'll get to that on the next video or a couple on down the road. But hopefully this is, as I was saying, going to be dry enough that I can start deburring it and getting it back to where I want it to be. I'm still going to use the original wheel spats that came with the kit. I just want to trim the body back down so it cleans up the look up until them when they're installed.
Working pretty close to a nice productive point.
Just to make that easier to fit, so I can get all the spacings down, make sure that everything, it all lines up and everything is good enough. So he sits in there perfectly. Absolutely what I was hoping for, honestly. Let's see what's a good piece to jam in there. To give it a finished look on the one side, that's going to be stuck in there. And then, what was one of these? This one. Right there, it actually needs to get notched out to fit that properly. This is definitely an extra step, but I want it to look as pretty as possible. So when you patch in above that wall, and clean that out a little bit more even. Just to make my life easier. I know it's going to be silly to seem, but I'm going to cut all that back and just flatten it up. Should be good enough by now. I'll just make sure it's tight wherever it needs to be otherwise. That now is going to have to fit, I would hope. Perfect. So that can slam in. That clears. The driver sits in just beautifully. He's going to fit right back there. Let me see if I can stick these in with a little bit of blue tack. So that, so far, is what I've come up with for modifications and kit bashing out of only chunks of cereal box, macaroni box for the Orks Boosta Blasta. Trying to make it a little bit cooler, a little bit more fancy, or a bit more of the roadster vibe. He just needs to get a little bit of a tweak around that grenade, but it's posable, it's drivable, it's convertible. The headers have been swapped around. All that gray putty is just holding it in place. That's what it used to look like. So this is the yay, I'm finally done moment before paint and, you know, sanding and all the other stuff. But honestly, this is that needs adjusting. This morning's been, you know, four hours, I think, on modifying this, just because I had to wait so much on getting all the glue to dry without being in the way. There you can see inside the little turret, and I didn't quite notice it before, but right now at the current setting of everything, the turret crank does clear the driver's head just barely. And there is the original versus my design. Like I said, I'll have to, you know, repose the grenade, and I can always finalize that in the turret. Hope you like it. That should be all for now. Alright. Thanks again from Justin for That Needs Adjusting. Hope you like and subscribe for more content or fun and cool ideas like this.